Hello, welcome back to my channel. Yes. So Gio is running a bit late. That's all right though. I'm in no rush. While I'm waiting for Gio to arrive, I'm just checking. Am I live? Or is YouTube acting up? I myself am running a bit late too. Come on, YouTube. Am I live? Wait 1 second. Can you guys comment if I'm live or not? Because you. Oh, there you go. There you go. Thank you, YouTube Studio. You're only 30 minutes behind. Okay. Anyhow, right. So Gio is running a bit late. My apologies. It's no big deal. It's no big deal. So before Gio gets here, I'll waffle a bit about Man City, and I'm sure Gio will be here in just a moment. So let's go through chat as well. Did I get rated, by the way? So many likes already. Did I get rated? Yeah, big up to the Silt. Big up to Liam. Did you rate me, Liam? Thank you if you did. Hello, big up to Wim, and big up to Adam as well. Hit the likes. Yes, sir. Do be liking and subscribing, not only to me, because I'm very close to 1K, but also to Gio, because great content creator. And if you like Serie A especially, he does a lot of good Serie A content, and he's knowledgeable. He does his content mainly in English, so that as well. If you want to learn about foreign leagues, because I think Premier League fans are way too often way too stuck up with just the Premier League. If you want to learn a bit about Serie A, go check out his channel. Seriously, don't constrain yourself with just Premier League, because when you only focus on the Premier League, you're missing out on a lot of great players, great teams, great football. Maybe not so much in Serie A recently, but still the idea is there. To be fair, yeah. If we're talking about Serie A, Napoli and Inter were very good right until the final third for Inter, or maybe a bit before the final that Inter really started falling apart. But Serie A, I just don't like watching it a lot, because I feel like recently Serie A has not been the same quality. I used to like watching Serie A lot more. Anyhow, forget about watching Serie A. Yeah, big up to Juve Cornercast. Gio is his name. Are you going live? Yes, sorry, we're a bit late. My apologies. Gio's still running late, but my apologies for being late myself here. Yes, sir. Big up to Gio. Yeah, Ludovic Reis is at Club Brugge. This is a huge game. It's not really a huge game, to be honest, because I mean, we're both qualified already. Who do we play if we finish second, though? Like, if we finish second, who do we play? Club World Cup. Let me look this up. Oh, Dortmund is playing right now. I did not even know that. Who do we play? Hello, big up to Rosa. Big up to Rosa. How are you? Oh, sorry, I clicked wrong. Look at who's returned. Oh yeah, the Silt is back in the building. Where have you been? You were gone for a few days, the Silt. You left me stranded here. Rosa had to do your job. One of us has to play Real Madrid. Okay. So if we lose, we play Madrid. Is that it? Where can I see this? Why is this so ugly? Not fantasy, is it? Standings here. It should have a bracket. Yeah. Okay, so 1H. Is that the groups? Yeah, 1E plays against 2F. What group is Man City in? Group G. So the first in Group G plays against the second in Group H, which is Salzburg. This can still change, to be fair, but let's assume that it's Salzburg. And yeah, we play Real Madrid indeed. We do play Real Madrid. Should we finish second? Let's assume Madrid win that game, or at least win that group. There we go. Great. Make sure to study and holiday as well, so that you don't get fucked up when you go back to school. Yes, a possible rematch again from the Spanish capital team. Atletico. We've not played Atletico in a while. I'm tired of playing Real Madrid, man. Fuck Madrid, bro. If we finish second, I pray to God that somehow, some way, who was it? Salzburg? 1 second, let me double check this again. I pray that Salzburg somehow, some way takes the win. Somehow, if we finish second, because I'm tired of playing Real Madrid, man. It's every fucking year we play them, and it was fun when it started, but now it's gotten boring. Anyhow, big up Gio. How are you?
Big up, Alf, bro. What's going on, man?
I'm tired of playing Madrid, man. Can you play against them?
Nah, brother. I think you're gonna have to play against them again, man, because I do not want to play Real Madrid, bro. But what's happening, guys, in the chat? Make sure to smash that likes. Let's go. City's gonna be a great game tomorrow for sure. But I'm concerned about my team with our back line. I'm worried about our back line against you guys because you guys have a great team, great players, and a great coach. Now, of course, history says that Juventus has not been beaten yet by City. Yes,
you've been beaten once. 1976 UEFA Cup 1-0 at Main Road.
Okay.
You won the title. You won the second leg 2-0, so you advanced.
Yeah, so that's why. But yeah, in terms of this though, I feel like you guys have the players to definitely beat us, and it also, let's see who you start, right? I mean, I think that's probably the lineup that you're showing at the moment, right? For tomorrow.
That's what I think will start, except I think Bernardo Silva will start, and I have no idea who Pep is going to drop here to start Bernardo Silva. But I just know he's going to start Bernardo because he's the captain now. So, but I have no idea who Pep is going to drop. Maybe he drops Foden over fitness reasons, because Foden, of course, has been struggling a while. I don't think he'll drop Gonzalez because he's out only real 6. I mean, Rodri is not fit to start. He's fit to come off the bench, but not to start. So this is the lineup I'm expecting, minus Bernardo Silva appearing somewhere. I reckon Ederson starts, but I would not be surprised if it's Ortega either, just because they keep changing with each other.
Yeah, no, Juventus, I think they already leaked their lineup for tomorrow's game.
Really?
The same 3-back line, supposedly, with Lloyd Kelly, Savona, and there's a couple other, Kalulu as well. He's going to be there. But maybe we might do a surprise and start Gatti. But we don't know yet. But supposedly, I mean, obviously I would start Gatti. Gatti over Kelly any day, bro. But yeah, if I had to do a starting lineup, it would definitely be Gatti, right? Bremer, he's coming off an ACL, so we want to save him for next season. So
yeah,
obviously we're not gonna start him, but Kalulu on the right for sure, man. I think he's been solid for us.
So you'd have this.
It'll be like that. Yep. And then after that, we have Savona on the left, I believe. Well, I'm not sure. Wait, what formation are we probably going to play? We're going to play a 3-4-3. 3-4-3.
3-4-3,
so that's the formation.
Okay.
Yeah, so Gatti there. Yeah, there you go. And then that's going to be basically our back 3. That's what I would do against City. But obviously, because if Gatti gets a yellow card, he's going to miss the round of 16. So who knows what's going to happen there, if we're going to start him or not. So it's between Kelly or Gatti for that position. But for the right side is going to be Alberto Costa. So Alberto Costa has been, I think, one of the surprises for Juventus this tournament.
Where is he? Oh, here.
There he is. Yeah, so he's going to be there. Locatelli is going to be the new one. McKennie's going to be benched because of a little slight injury, supposedly. So he's going to be in the middle there. You're going to have Thuram. Thuram has been amazing for us. And then you're going to have Cambiaso on that left side. So it'll be 4 in the middle.
Do you rate Cambiaso, by the way? Because I swear to God, every time you ask, a Juventus fan, you get a different answer.
For me, I feel like it's like he does well, and then there's some games that he just doesn't do well. This is what I've seen from Cambiaso. Like when Cambiaso versus you guys, like during that period, during like November-ish,
Yeah.
um, he was like on fire. That guy was like really well. But then he had a slight injury, and then he was out for like a month and a half.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then his form hasn't been really the same since, and that's probably why City didn't really get him. I mean, I'm not sure what's going on with that, but we'll find out later in the transfer market. But
He looked dead. He looked dead against Club Brugge.
yeah,
I was watching Cambiasso that game because obviously the links with Man City, and
yeah,
he just didn't do anything. I feel like he got rinsed by Talbi, and Talbi is bored. Like Talbi
yeah.
is very bored, and he got rinsed by him. So I'm not sure about Cambiasso personally. I've only watched him for like 2 games, so I can't
Yeah,
really
no,
comment
exactly.
either.
Yeah, no, exactly. And with Cambiaso, I think he's going to be important for Juventus in terms of trying to create chances. I mean, in the Club World Cup, he's actually been doing pretty well. So let's see if he can keep up that form. Of course, up top, it's going to be the same three. Yildiz, and then it's going to be Colomani and Conceição on that right side, which that has
I've
been
got
the
a
bread of the
question though.
attack. Go ahead.
You're leaving Vlahovic out.
Yeah, supposedly. Well, the thing is, he might start actually, so we don't know yet. But
Yeah.
supposedly, it's gonna be Colomani in the middle, Yildiz on the left. Yeah, Colomani there, and then Conceição on the right. That's gonna be the lineup supposedly.
Where this comes out here. Um, I've got a question about a back three, by the way. You see these players over here.
Yeah,
You're gonna play a back three against that.
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. But no, I mean, listen, I think Gatti, Kalulu, and Savona is probably our best shot. I mean, listen, with Bremer, it's a whole different back line. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But because Bremer was one of the best defenders in Serie A. So,
Mm-hmm.
and not just that, but I think he would lock up Holland. I mean, listen, even without Bremer, Gatti did a great job against City, against Holland. So
A very
I'm
much
not.
worse City. So
Yeah, that's exactly. But I think now we'll see, because if Cherokee on the right, let's see how he's going to do against Savona, which has been actually brilliant this tournament so far. Um, and we'll see how your midfield does against Locatelli and Thuram, because Reinders always struggles usually against Juve in terms of because I don't know, it's like when he was at AC Milan, he's always been struggling. He's never really showed that he could really perform. So
when he's playing at AC Milan, he was playing a box-to-box role.
Yep.
And he was having to create for AC Milan because they had no other creativity, and he was having to drop deep to defend a bit more. And when you're playing against a very solid team, that's very difficult to do. I think at Man City, you've got a lot of players around Reinders that take pressure off of him. Sherky and like Nouri are going to create. Foden is going to help control the game. So I think with Reinders having only to focus on maybe 1 or 2 aspects, whereas otherwise at AC Milan, he had to focus on the entire game. I think that's going to help Rangers a lot with this game, but that is interesting to say that.
Yeah, no, and not just that, but Alf, but you guys definitely need to know that this is probably not the Juventus. I mean, we'll find out because this is Man City we're talking about.
Yeah.
But the way that I've seen it, and I went to the game in person against Wydad, right?
You're in America right now.
Yeah. So I saw us pressure like aggressive. We were very aggressive to get the ball back really quickly, and we did. There was that one instance, and this is why I don't trust Kelly. This is why we scored that first goal. But that's why that's the liability, I think, in the back with Kelly. I think that's the only player that I would bench him immediately. But I think if this is the lineup that's going into tomorrow, it's going to be something, because you're going to have Cambiasso going to come in with Yildiz, and they have very good link-up play. Then you have Alberto Costa has been insane with Conceição on that right side. Then you're putting in a more calm midfielder like Locatelli. It's not McKennie this time. So he's going to be the one that's really going to be dictating that play in the midfield. And then you're going to have Thuram, which has been phenomenal all year round. And you're going to have Colomani, which has been, finally we've been seeing some things and some positive things from Colomani with the link-up play with Conceição and Yildiz. And Yildiz is, he's the star at the moment at Juve. So we'll see what's going to happen. I want to see how your defense copes with because Conceição, we know it. When he's on a one-on-one, that guy, he gets away from him. And same goes with Yildiz. Yildiz can take on 2 to 3 guys. So I want to see what's going to happen with that. Colomani likes to run into spaces as well. So you definitely got to, for Gvardiol and Diaz, they have to literally probably keep an eye on that guy for sure because one cross from either Alberto and Cambiaso, Colomani is probably going to be there because, he did that in the first game against Alain. And he scored a brace.
One of the problems Man City does have with Gvardiol and Diaz is neither of them are much of an aerial presence. They're both physical, and Gvardiol is pretty quick. He's very quick even, but neither are very good in the air. Like if you go back to when we had Ruben Diaz and John Stones, quicker, physical, good in the air, and Ruben Diaz is more on the ground defender.
Yeah.
That is why they work so well together. Ruben Diaz and Gvardiol give the impression that they work good together. But I've been saying for a while now, don't be surprised when we play a big team with a good striker who's good in the air, and Gvardiol and Diaz look helpless because neither of them are great in the air. I'm not saying they're going to get washed away, but I think that this is a big test for them because
for sure.
neither of them have had to be a partnership yet, playing against tall physical players in the box. They've also mostly played on the counter, but Man City is changing how we play. We're starting to play a lot more direct, which means we're going to have a lot less control over the game, which is a decision Pep made. We're not going to control the game as much anymore. We're going to try to go forwards and play to our strengths. These attackers who love to score. So let's see how they handle box-to-box game as well, because I think this is going to be very end-to-end. And I think this is a test for both teams. Because
exactly. Defensively, it's going to be very big test. Why do I say that? Because also I want to see how you guys are going to do on the counter. Because so far in this tournament, we have been very deadly on the counter, Alf. Like I was there, and this is how we scored. I think it was the second or first goal. The first goal we scored from a counter. So, Conceição as well with the dribbling and all that. I think it's going to be, and then of course you guys have that talent too with Marmoush, Haaland, and Cherki, which I want to see what Cherki's going to do if Pep is going to tell him to track back more to get to double down on Yildiz, and that's going to be the key, right? If Cherki can do that, because it's going to take a lot of energy out of them. Plus, they're going to be playing in really, really humid weather, so it's going to be crazy for them. And we'll see about Ederson too. I mean, what are your thoughts about Ederson, as a goalkeeper, especially this season? I would say.
Right. So I've liked Ederson for a long while for what he was. I never thought he was a good shot stopper. I liked what he gave us for a long time, but I feel like during the 4-beat season, I was starting to get annoyed with how bad he was shot stopping wise. Because this is the thing here with Ederson. One season he'll be great shot stopping. The next season he'll be terrible. He doesn't have that consistently. Take the Centurion season for example. His debut against Everton. The way Wayne Rooney scored. I mean, he should have never scored.
There you go.
Ederson should have had that. That has been his debut season. The season after that he was very good shot stopping wise, and then the season after he was terrible again. So this is a problem with Ederson, in my opinion. He can't stay consistent with that shot stopping. So you don't know what Ederson you get. Last season, Ederson's shot stopping was not good enough. I want a new goalkeeper who is gonna be a lot more comfortable shot stopping wise. You won't get any goalkeeper as good with his feet as Ederson. They don't exist. Let's be honest. But I don't mind because I think Gvardiol, Diaz, should be playing Nunez said as well, they're all very comfortable passing out of the back. Reinders is comfortable dropping between the centre backs, passing out from the back. Should Bernardo Silva play, again, comfortable doing that. We've got so many players who can pass. I don't think we need our goalkeeper to do that as well. But if we play Husinov, because a lot of people like Husinov on right back, if we play him, it actually makes a lot of sense because Husinov, he's rapid, he's strong, he's an old school defender. He'll slide in and he'll leave some on you. If he plays, he's not that comfortable with the ball in his feet. So giving him the option to go backwards to Ederson, who can then comfortably distribute the ball, I think that's very good if Husinov plays. I don't think Husinov will play, though. I prefer only slightly Ortega, but I don't think either are good enough for Man City. At least Ederson, not anymore. At some point, Ederson was, but not anymore.
Yeah. No, exactly. And, we'll see. Like I said, it's going to be really, I want to see like tactically how we're going to be. Because I know that Juventus, in terms of big games, we usually do well, and this is going to be the test to see where Juventus is at as a team. It doesn't mean that my team will win the whole competition if we beat you guys or if we lose, you know what I'm saying? Because it's always happened like this. Juventus has always been hyped too much, and then all of a sudden, one bad loss, and then it's like a bad streak. That's what happened last season, But I feel like with Tudor, there has been a lot of positive things in terms of the build-up play. It's been getting a lot better, and I've been actually, happy to see that, we kept Tudor, and we started to finally see that there's something there with the team. And that's what we want to see. For me as a Juventus supporter, we want to see that progression as a team. We want to see that, compactness as well. And we're in that. Listen, Alberto Costa, when Thiago Motta was our coach, he didn't even use him. So props to Tudor for actually giving him playing time, because we wouldn't have found him as a really our talent. And he's been outstanding for us on that right side. Now the question, of course, will be Kelly. Now, most likely Kelly is probably going to be starting, right, in that middle role, actually. So it's going to be Kalulu onto that right side, right? Yeah. Kelly in that middle. So that for me, when I heard about Kelly going up against Haaland, I'm like, I'm like, forget about it. Just give Haaland a goal already and it's over. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, who knows what happens? It's still a game, of football. It's whoever, it depends what's going to happen, right? Because there's so many scenarios, right? We saw Botafogo beat PSG with their whole starting 11,
Yeah.
So anything is possible, but at the same time, I don't trust. Like, I was at the game and I do not trust Kelly. Every single time that he got on the ball, I'm like this. I couldn't watch.
And I think a lot of people, you know what I did today? I was doing taxes. Yay. But other than that, while I was doing it, I played Man City 4-0 Real Madrid because I did a stream with Bevo, and he told me I need to rewatch that game because I actually never did. So I had that on while I was doing my taxes, and I was just watching how Haaland pressed in the treble season, which is something he didn't do in any season after that. And I look at how he presses for Norway, and it's very similar. It's just so aggressive. And he stopped doing that because he didn't have the team around him to do that. He didn't have the young players around him, because if you press alone, it doesn't work. You need a team to press around. Now we've got a very young, fit team. All of them have an engine to press, as well as Bernardo Silva. Should he play, he can just run and run and run, Bernardo. So Haaland is actually going to press a lot against Juve, I think. If he's going to play against Skelly, Haaland has dropped stinkers in the past, so he may do so here. But if Haaland plays against Skelly, and Marmoush is hopefully going to try to take away Alberto and Kalulu's attention, and then Cherki is going to try to take away the attention from Savona and Cambiasso, I would expect Haaland to get a goal, or at least a goal in this game. I'm very interested to see how deep you line up, because if you're trying to press Man City in, and you get countered because there's the idea that Man City doesn't counter. We do now. Now we do. So if you're hoping that we don't counter you, I think you'll get burdened. But if you sit very deep, I think you'll also get in problems because you'll invite too much pressure. I think you'll need to find a very good balance between pressing up and not pressing too high, which is going to be difficult for you guys. But what I will say, yeah, this right-hand side, I've got little trust in defensively. Ruben
Yeah, I
Diaz
was
is
about to say
playing
that.
well
Yeah.
recently.
Yeah.
And Nunez, I mean, he's going to get cooked, let's be honest. Especially against Yildiz.
Yeah, no, when I saw Nunes supposedly going to be starting, I was like, I think Yildiz could definitely take him and cause problems. That's why I think. But on the left side with Conceição, we don't know because Conceição, like I said, we've seen him; he's been performing,
Yeah.
So we don't know what's going to happen. And do you trust Gavardio and Diaz to really get Colomani? Because one thing about Colomani, that guy's like very sneaky, man. He'll get behind the defender and you won't really know it. But at Juve, Colomani has been impressive.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
So I trust Gvardiol in this area. I think in this area, Gvardiol is the best defender in the world. In this area. But I think he breaks down when he gets to these areas as a defender. I think that's where he makes a lot of sloppy mistakes. And I think he pushes up too high sometimes to be effective as well.
Yeah.
But that's more on Pep than on Gvardiol, in my opinion, because clearly Pep is asking him to do that. So in this area, I trust that Colomani can be taken out of the game by Gvardiol. What I'm more afraid of is you get the ball out wide, and I don't trust anyone in the box to be marking Colomani. I don't trust anyone that we'll have in the box. If we push Rangers all the way back into the box to do it, I mean, now we're just leaving ourselves open in midfield. So my main concern is your striker, to be honest, and mainly crosses, high crosses in the air. That's what I don't know how we defend against with these players, which is actually why I wanted Yumaba to come in, because he's a beast. Physically, he's a beast. In the air, he's a beast. He wins almost all his aerial duels. It's insane. So that's why I wanted Yumaba. I think we need a defender like that who can win his aerial duels.
Yeah. No, exactly. And I would say that even when we last versed each other, you guys had a problem aerial as well. Remember with Vlahovic when he scored, it was on Gavardio. So that's one thing that we've noticed. I mean, of course, it's a different sort of team, but you could see the same concept like that. But I want to see, because what I noticed about Juve from last season, of course, is that when we scored, right, we usually would track back a little bit, stay more compact and then just try to hit on the counter. Now I wonder if we score in this match, right? Will we just keep on going forward and try to score that second quickly? You know what I mean? And would that give us more confidence, right? I mean, I've seen that for the past 2 games. We score, we go and attack aggressive, and we'll see. Because now it's a bigger opponent. It's Manchester City here, and they have great players. Now I want to see if we could keep the same type of style / way. And listen, if Juve do beat City, it's going to be huge for us in terms of confidence for the knockout rounds, of course.
Yeah.
And also avoiding Real Madrid. That's the big thing. Because I mean, listen, we have a good enough squad.
Imagine,
man.
Imagine you beat Man City, but Salzburg beats Madrid. So you play
Oh,
them anyway.
then that's great. Then that's great. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, like, I don't want to be on that side of the bracket because now it's PSG, Bayern, Real Madrid, basically at the moment, right?
Right. So this is the brackets at the moment.
Yeah.
So,
yep.
Yeah, PSG against Inter Miami, Flamengo against Bayern München. 1H is Madrid. 2G is whoever finishes second. Yeah, that's a nasty side of the bracket, isn't it? 1F, who is that? Dortmund. Okay. Wait, why is Dortmund not on here yet? They played all the games. Anyhow, and 2E. 2E. Currently Inter. Oh yeah, I forgot. They've been dropping stinkers, haven't they?
Yeah.
Do you think they beat River Plate, by the way? I think River Plate will bam
I
them the
think
way they're looking right
yeah,
now.
I think River will beat Inter, but I think it will be also up to Monterrey. Because if Monterrey win and River Plate win, Inter's out. So that'll be insane. I mean, of course, I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be doing a hate along for that. But but yeah, no, that's gonna be great to see my rivals in the mud again, once again.
This left side of the bracket looks a lot weaker, though.
Yeah,
But the Vogel, Benfica, Chelsea. What is this team? Sep.
Palmeiras.
Palmeiras. Okay, Palmeiras. What does Sep stand for?
Don't know. I think it's like SC something. Palmeiras, I guess.
Palmeiras. Okay. It stands for this. I'm not
Okay.
even going to try to pronounce
It's
that.
Sociedad Esportiva.
Yeah,
So
that.
it's
I'm not
like
going to try pronouncing that.
it's a society. They're saying it's society something. Forgot. I
Yeah.
don't know what the other word is, but
Society for Sport, I'm reckoning.
yeah.
Anyhow. By the way, from chat here, yo Gio, what's your thoughts on Chelsea avoiding Bayern, and they might reach the semi-finals? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, Chelsea lost against Flamengo, and Benfica's never a bad team. They've always been a underrated team, so I'm not surprised that they did beat Bayern. But at the same time, I expected Bayern to do way better. And of course, that loss did make me worried about my Juventus, right? Because in my opinion, it's like, okay, we're versing Man City. How we're gonna do? This is the biggest test, I think, of the tournament for us. So I mean, so far, but I definitely want to see, Chelsea. I definitely want to see Chelsea around the semis if we get a chance. Definitely, because in my opinion, I rather not verse those Brazilian teams. Because
Yeah,
those Brazilian
because
teams, they're insane. They're insane. So
you know what it is, yeah. I think a lot of Premier League teams, and not just Premier League teams, European teams, they underestimate these Brazilians.
yeah, yep.
Like the way that I mean, Al Hilal is not Brazilian, but the way Real Madrid played, for example, against Al Hilal, like it was
It
so
wasn't
cocky,
serious.
it was so arrogant,
Yep.
and I think that a lot of these teams are going to run into the same issue. Big up to Zaid, by the way, who's in chat. Big up. Anyhow, moving on. One thing that I think will be an issue for Juventus is this midfield, because you only have two in midfield here. And if you're coming up against our midfield, I mean, not only do we have a medical advantage like this, Ait Nouri and Vardiol will both be getting into that midfield as well. So how does Juventus cope with that when Man City has potentially 4 or 5 players in midfield at a time, when you have only 2?
Well, the thing is, defensively, Juventus, I think, goes into a deeper shape. So we'll basically go into like a 3-5-2. So that's the shape that we would transition to when we're defensively.
So who
Now the
drops
thing
into
is, so it would be basically you would have, I believe, Alberto Costa would drop, or vice versa. It will become Yasso that would drop back to that 4, right? And then you would have Conceição and then Yildiz as well there, and then it'll be like that nice box. So there you go. I think but the thing is, defensively, like so basically we'll be going to a 4-4-2 basically in terms of that. But we defend as a unit. That's what I noticed. And Conceição loves to track back, and same does Yildiz. Now that's the thing that, if for example, will Cherky do that? Will Marmoush track back and do that? I mean, I don't know. I haven't really watched those last. I mean, I did watch the first game against Wydad. I didn't watch the Ain one, but you could tell me, do Cherky, Marmoush track back against like those wingers, or is it like?
So Marmoush definitely does that. I can say that confidently about Marmoush. Cherky, I'm not sure. He's the type of guy, when he was at Lyon, he would defend when he felt like defending. You get what I'm saying? So at Man City, he's been pressing, he's been trying to win the ball back against Wydad and stuff. But that's not the same as dropping back and defending deeply when you have to, because we will have to defend at some point during this game. So I'm assuming that he respects Pep Guardiola enough to do that. How effectively he'll do it is another question entirely. What I'm more so worried about is not whether they'll track back. I think they will. What I'm most worried about is that we're going to be simply physically, when defending, not quite that, because none of these players on the wings are physically imposing. Let's be honest. We have no Carl Walker here. I mean, thank God we don't have him anymore. And in the box again, it's going to be very easy to get a cross into the box. And if you can get a cross into the box, I mean,
that's anything.
I've said this earlier, but if you get a cross into the box, that's when we get in trouble. So I think the goal for Man City should be to not get Juventus to press us back. The goal for Man City will be press Juventus in and try to force Juventus out through central areas. So we might press very heavily out on the wings to force you down the middle, because we may believe that if we're defending down the middle, that we can stop you before you get to the edge of our area. I think that might be the goal.
Yeah, no, I mean, but the thing is also with our midfield, right? We have Locatelli that's been very aggressive. Then you have Thuram, very aggressive as well. So I want to see how your midfield with Reinders, right? He knows Serie A teams, right? See how he's going to cope with Juve's midfield once again. How Gonzalez will, the new Gonzalez right here, right? How he's going to cope, right? So how is he going to cope with Thuram? You know, especially because Thuram loves to go forward, and the guy, dude, that guy is like fast. You know, and the link up play, like I said, you have to be careful when Yildiz goes up, right, and pushes on Nunez, for example, right? You would have Thuram right by Gonzalez, and then you have Cambiaso making that overlap. When you have that, that's when it's going to be dangerous for you. You know, that's what I was saying. And then you remember, you have Alberto Costa and Conceição, and you have Colomani in that central. And then you have the Locatelli that's coming up from behind a little bit. But he's not going to, of course, he's not going to go fully up, because he knows if there's a counterattack, he needs to be there in the middle just in case that happens. Right?
To be honest,
we'll see.
To be honest, I'm not the most worried about your midfield, because I don't think you have a bad midfield by any means. But I don't think your midfield is as balanced as ours is, because with Man City, you've got a Maverick in midfield. You've got Reinders, who's he's a very balanced player. He's a box-to-box. And you've got a very physically imposing player in Gonzalez, who's he's very good at stopping transitions from happening as well. Not as good as Rodri, of course, but I mean, who is as good as Rodri? So I'm not too worried about the midfield battles. I think we'll win the midfield comfortably. I think the midfield is not where Juventus is going to have to.
No, I don't think we're going to dominate the midfield. Yeah, no. I think we're going to dominate. We're going to try to see if we can hit you on the counter like we did last time, I believe. We're going to do that same method. But the thing is, we could also cause damage when we go forward. That's the thing now, right? Because Conceição, Yildiz, we have these type of wingers that they know exactly what to do. They could take a man on, and it's like they're gone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then they have Colomani now that is now in the team. He wasn't in the team when we versed you guys. So now we have him as like that option to build. And then, of course, we have Vlahovic on the bench. We have some Coop Miners as well, if he comes on. Nico Gonzalez, which our Nico Gonzalez. So it's going to be Nico G versus Nico G when he comes on. And then we have Douglas Luiz, which is still a question mark for me. I don't really know. And, of course, we have McKennie, right? Weah. But we'll see. It's definitely going to be interesting, definitely, if they come on. So,
you know what I'm interested to see? Conceição against Ait Nouri. Because Ait Nouri is not known for being the greatest defender. Let's be honest about that. He's a very good left back, but he's an attacking-minded left back. And sometimes when you play against wingers like this, that can be an issue, especially quick wingers who can get into the box comfortably. Conceição, he's comfortable scoring as well. He's not like Doku or Savio, our wingers, who will get 20 chances and miss all of them. He scores. He's clinical. So this is something that I'm very interested in seeing, because I think
Definitely.
Ait Nouri's underrated defensively, because he is very good going forward, and it's like the idea, if a fullback is good in attacking, they're bad in defending. I don't think that's per se the case, but I want to see that against a top defender or a top attacker, which I do think Conceição is.
Yeah. No, the thing is with Conceição, he has his good days and he has his bad days, right? He didn't really show up that much against Wydad. He had a lot of good chances, but the thing is, we'll see what he could do against City, right? Yildiz,
Yeah,
I think I'm not really worried about him because he's like the creator in terms of the crosses, in terms of the, taking the man on one, right? I mean, Kolomwani has been up and down. I mean, he scored the first game. He had a couple chances where he could have put the ball in the back of the net. Just it wasn't his day. So I want to see what Juventus is going to do as a unit going forward, because that's my main concern. Because if we go too far up, I'm afraid, because if we get caught in that counter, then you're going to have Holland, Marmoush, Foden, and then you're going to have Cherky that's going to be coming our way, blazing. And that's where I think we're going to get burned, on that
yeah.
counter. So we got to be very careful in terms of that. But I feel like if we stay conservative and hit you guys on the counter, on the transition, on the quick transition, which we have been doing very well so far, then I think that we could create some problems, especially for your fullbacks, and of course for your defenders. But I think in terms of this, listen, it's going to be a close game. Of course, I think we're going to get goals, but I think it's 50-50 at the moment, because we don't really know who's going to start,
Yeah.
because I feel like if Kelly starts, you guys have a more percentage of winning for sure, because I feel like that Kelly always has like a weakness in the back, right? He always either leaves us, leaves something open, like a spot open, and all of a sudden the player or the opposing player would just hit it and it would just a goal. Do I think it could be a tie? 100%. I think I'm leaning towards more of a tie for our teams.
Yeah.
But it depends, right? Who starts? Because listen, we have on both teams good players, but my back line at the moment concerns me, because listen, we have Bremer, right? But he's not going to
Yeah.
start. We have Gatti, not going to start. I mean, he'll come
Mm-hmm.
in. He'll come in during the half, so we know that.
Yeah.
Vlahovic will definitely come in second half. Koopmeier
Mm-hmm.
is definitely going to come in. Gonzalez might come in as well. And then you're going to have probably Weah or McKennie that would come in for the midfield.
Yeah.
That's what
So
I think.
what I think, yeah, is where this game is different for Juventus and Man City. For Man City, this game is more so about testing our new style of play, whereas for
That's it.
Juventus, it's more so about not necessarily because you do play in a different way, but it's more so about testing how good you are against big teams, and also about not being an Icarus,
Yeah.
because like if you drop back too much, Man City will pin you in. The last thing you want to do is be too conservative and get pinned against your own net, because you want to go on the counter, of course, against Man City, but we've seen when teams defend too much. Take Crystal Palace. They were winning 2-0. They wanted to defend out their 2-0. They got destroyed. Sometimes, if you drop back too much, you lose all initiative, and you don't always want to give that away. So for Juventus, it's about not getting too stuck in one way of playing or another. Not creating an Icarus story, basically, where you fly too close to the sun, as they say. If Juventus wants to win, Juventus has to be balanced. I think that's the most important thing for Juventus. Whereas for Man City, I think Man City has the better player for player. I think we have the better squads.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe I'm underrating some Juventus players, but I do think that's just play for play. I mean, we have a nasty front three as well. We should be better, but we need to convert that advantage. We need to convert our new system and
Yeah.
convert our new style of play into something viable in actual football games. That's what it's about for Man City, I think. Which is why I don't think Man City particularly cares if we lose, because it's, I mean, we're both through to the next round. It's more so about test your limits, I think, this game, and not too much worrying about losing for Man City.
Well, I mean, either way, we both go to the round of 16. Even if you guys versus Madrid, for example, right? I feel like that you guys are just gonna beat Madrid because they just lost Bellingham, right? I think he has a soldier
Yeah.
surgery, right? So now they also don't have Mbappe at the moment, right? So listen, I feel like with Real Madrid, I think you guys can really take them with their style, style now, right? I really think that you guys could be because now you have Cherokee, you have Reinders, right? That solidifies the midfield. You have a Rodri if you need him. You have all these guys on the bench too that can make an impact. As for Juve, it's still unknown against a big team. If we lose against you guys, then it's gonna be, unless we see some big, like a big fight, for example, right? If we get like a draw, right, and we'll see whoever goes through. I'm not sure what it is, but for example, if we get a draw, right, and then Juve gets or loses, right, we get Real Madrid.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be a tough match for
Well,
sure.
well, if we draw, you are first because you've got better goal difference.
Ah, okay. So this changes everything now.
Yeah.
Now the thing is, will Juve be playing for the tie or the win?
Yeah, that's what I meant with not flying too close to the sun. You can't play for the draw against Man City.
Yeah, no. I
Or
think I
against
think we're
any
gonna have to
big
go for
team,
the win.
really.
Yeah, no. I think we're gonna go for the win. Obviously, we have that mentality. Not just that, but our coach Tudor, he wants to get a win all the time. He didn't. We were playing a very aggressive style of football, so we'll see what happens with that. So big up to Michael. I think you rated.
Yeah.
Big up to Michael, bro.
Michael did rate. I was just about to say that. Thank you for Michael for rating. By the way, Yashari rejected Man United. They, they can't even get Yashari over the line. Oh well. To be
Yeah,
fair, literally every club that he played against in Europe wants his signature. So you guys were linked to him as well, weren't you?
yeah. No, we were, but I think I'm not sure if we're gonna be going after him because at the moment we're going after two players, Sancho and Jonathan David. Those are the two players at the moment that we're going to go for. Supposedly, Weah and Mbangula on our team is going to be heading out to Nottingham Forest.
Mm-hmm.
And now there's new news as well that this is from a random newspaper here. It says Juventus are preparing a 30 million offer to sign Araujo. I'm gonna cry again with this news. I hate Araujo, man. That's one player I just do not like. But at the same time, it's a Serie A, it's a different league. It's more defensive. So let's see if he could do well if he comes to us. But that's just not good. Not good. Not good, man. Oh man, it's not good. But
You don't rate Araujo?
nah, man. Nah, man.
You
Oh
know what's
man.
funny, yeah? When Barcelona first signed him, because I have a friend who is a Barcelona fan, I told him, yo, this is a terrible signing. He's dog shit. And I could not take the end of it when I told him that. And now every day he's telling me, I hope Araujo leaves.
Oh man. No, no. It's just like I just don't want a defender that let literally um
Enter
he let Inter he let a Cherby
Alejandro, I
score.
believe it was.
Yeah, and a Cherby. You
Oh,
cannot
yeah.
let a Cherby score. Like he's a defender. He goes up and Araujo's marking him, by the way. And oh man, and he scores. So man. I'm not sure.
It's a bit off topic, this, but have you watched Adon Yashari play for Switzerland?
No, yeah, he's a brilliant player. He's good. He's good.
Yashari, yeah, because this guy, people are thinking that Club Brugge is going to sell him for like 35 million, which is ridiculous.
That's
Very not. So of course I'm a Club Brugge fan and Man City fan. A lot of people don't know that, even though it's my type. It's in my channel's description. But anyhow, so I'm also a Club Brugge fan, and I tell people this is the most talented player I've ever seen at this club. Like I've been watching since 2007. I've not seen a more talented player than this guy. He's not leaving for 40 million. He's not leaving for 45 million. And if you want to know why he rejected Man United, he said he wants a stable club.
That's crazy.
You know what that means? He's gonna reject AC Milan too.
AC Milan.
Because Milan is in for him too, and they're not stable.
No.
And this guy, he can go to Dortmund if he likes, because Dortmund are willing to pay up. He can go to Atalanta if he likes. He can go to Man City because Man City wants him. He's got all these options. That's ridiculous. He's not going to be sold for cheap because he gets to pick and choose. You know how Words got to pick and choose?
Yep.
This is like the smaller version of Words. That's a smaller version of that. And I generally think that he'll be the next Frankie de Jong. Maybe he won't reach the same level, but he will be the next type of player like that. Also, I got a question here from chat. What right back do you want City to sign? And the answer is Livramento. Even though you say, please, no, Livramento. Livramento is so Let me ask your opinion on Livramento as well. He's so disrespected defensively. He's so good defensively. But because he inverts, the defensive statistics look worse. Because, go check the statistics defensively of any inverting right back. They will look bad. But now take that same right back, put them in a more traditional right back role. Their defensive stats will look a lot better. It's just because the nature of an inverting right back. I think he's so good defensively. I don't understand why Man City fans don't rate him.
Yeah, no, I feel like that. No, Livramento is definitely underrated in terms defensively. I'm not sure why Man City doesn't want him. I mean, he's definitely, I think, better than Nunes over here on the playing the right back for sure defensively. So, but the thing is, I think with your guys' system, I think Livramento could definitely fit into that type of role.
He's so that's comfortable passing as well.
Yeah, that's what you need, because the Pep wants that. Comfortable in terms of passing.
Yeah.
But he needs defense, like he needs a solid fullback.
Absolutely.
So I feel like
especially when you have it's underrated on the left, who's going to push up very high.
Yeah. I think that's definitely that's what he would definitely do. I think if I was Pep and the management at Man City, get this guy Livramento for sure.
Yeah, Pep Guardiola does want Livramento, but like the asking price is ridiculous. My opinion is, if we win the Club World Cup, we'll sign him. If we don't, we won't. What players, by the way, do you think Juventus will sign one big player should you win the Club World Cup?
It depends who's left. At the moment, like I said, Sancho looks to be coming, right?
Is that a big player, though?
I, in my opinion, not that as a big player, but I think it's a solid signing for Juventus at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Jonathan David, underrated striker, 100%.
Yeah.
Now, the thing is, defender. We need a defender. So who are we going to get? It's still unknown. I heard there's rumors about David Hansko from Feyenoord. He's still on the table.
Mm-hmm.
And then we could get somebody else as well. Leone from Parma, I think, in Serie A. That's another defender. But I feel like that the big name that we would go after, if Jonathan David does not come, would be only if Arsenal go after Sesko, would be Gyökeres. But at the moment, Gyökeres is preferring Arsenal, right? But I think that I only see him happening if Arsenal go after Sesko instead. Because at the moment, nobody wants Gyökeres except for Arsenal, really. I mean, he rejected Man United. He said at the moment he prioritizes Arsenal over Juve. But if this is gonna have to be a choosing situation, right? Arsenal picks Sesko, possibly Gyökeres could still be on the table. That, of course, would be, I think, every club's dream. But I feel
Yeah,
like if we do end up winning the Club World Cup or getting far in the tournament, I feel like the Gyökeres might turn his shift to Juventus, or it would definitely attract big names for sure.
absolutely. I
Yeah.
mean, if you win the Club World Cup, a lot of clubs are a lot of players are going to look at you and think you're on the upwards
Hmm.
trajectory. I mean,
Yep.
correct me if I'm mistaken. After it's like December, you were ninth, I believe. So like after 19 games, so that you were not very good halfway through the season, um, but you sacked your manager and got in someone new, and you started winning games. So what you did before was you drew all the games. Um, After you got your new manager, you started winning games. So you're fourth in a Serie A. I think you're better than fourth in Serie A. I just think you're lower in the table because you had a bad start with your previous manager.
Yeah. No, I think because we had a lot of draws with our previous manager. That's also was the biggest thing because you have to be in order to really win. You must have a solid defense and win Serie A. You need to come up in those clutch moments, right? In terms of winning against those smaller teams, right? Those smaller opponents. That's I think the biggest thing in Serie A to do is to get there. But I feel like with our new manager, I feel like that there is something different about it. You know, I feel like that with the squad that we have at the moment, he's doing pretty good. If we're winning with Kelly on the pitch, as a starter, because usually for Juventus, I mean, at the end of last season, we always do terrible or we struggle against those smaller opponents. In the Club World Cup, we versed with smaller opponents like Alain, like Widad, and we blew them out of the water. Now, of course, talent wise, it's probably different, but I feel like this is something different that I haven't seen, and we saw a lot of build up play and a lot of link up play for the first time. So it's kind of different. We're in that process where we could be going up in a nice trajectory. But the thing is, the management for Juventus needs to back back our manager, with signings.
Yeah.
You know,
So, do you think that if you sign Gyökeres, you're winning a trophy?
100%.
Because
I
that's
I,
going to
fe-
be
I feel like I feel like if we sign Gyökeres and he starts performing well, meaning scoring a lot of goals, we could win Serie A and win the cup.
Mhm.
And maybe go far in Champions League. It depends on who we get, right? Because if we get Sancho, we have Conceição there, Yildiz, that's a crazy front three. But my concern is the back line. We need one defender at least. Get a defender.
So
You
if
know.
I'm Gyökeres personally, let's imagine I'm Gyökeres right now. What I would look at the club to join is, can I take this club to win a league title? With Arsenal, I mean, he
Mhm.
goes to Arsenal. What have they lacked for, I mean, 5 years basically? A striker. So
Yeah.
if I'm Gyökeres, I'm thinking, I go to Arsenal, I will be the difference maker. I'll get all the plaudits for it. I'll win a title, and I'll be loved by the fans. I'll be paid very good wages for getting our team over the title, plus the bonuses, of course. If he looks at Juventus, am I going to Juventus and am I being the difference maker at Juventus? The difference between finishing third in Serie A or winning the league title. Am I that difference at Juventus? So for Juventus, I'm not sure if it's that straightforward because you still need, I think, a proper midfielder who's very ferocious. Because I mean, you've got a midfielder in Thuram who's very physical and stuff, but what I think you need is a box-to-box midfielder who's very calm as well, who is a balanced midfielder basically, which is why you're interested in Yashari because that's the
Yeah.
profile he brings. So I still think you need a midfielder of that type. And I'm not sure if you're linked to anyone like that.
That's why if we go after Yashari, I think it makes sense. Would make sense for Juventus to go after. I mean, listen, we've done deals like that in the past where we gone after underrated midfielders, and I think that if we do go, it would definitely change the creativity in the team because that's what we're kind of missing.
Hmm.
Is that kind of creative type of midfielder. Because Locatelli, he's creative, but he's not as creative as, for example, like the next De Jong, right, Yashadi, etc.
Yeah.
But if I'm looking at this team, you have Bremer that's coming back. He will be solid. Gatti has been solid for Juve. Then you're going to have probably another defender like maybe David Hanschko, right? You got Kalula has been
Hmm.
solid. Savon has been doing great. Alberto Costa has been so underrated for us. Cambiasu, if he stays healthy and good, he'll be great. Yildiz has been performing crazy. Conceição, underrated, right? You're going to get maybe Sancho that could really blow up at our club too. And then you would have Jokeres and Colo. You know what I mean? That would be a sick team if you think about it. And I think that team definitely would challenge for the league. Will we go far in Champions League? It would be unknown. But I think if Juve sign Jokeres, it will be a statement to the league that we are going to compete next year for the title against Napoli, which Napoli has only signed at the moment De Bruyne, but they could be making some key signings. So we'll see. But I think if Juve starts signing some big names, it's going to be very, very scary next season because I think that Tudor is a good coach. He hasn't won anything, but he placed second with Marseille against against PSG's Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe. That team was insane in the league but he placed second with Marseille that season, playing a really good style of aggressive football. Came in as a Lazio coach as well for towards the end of the season. Got them to actually, I think it was they were like on 15th, 17th, and they got them to Champions League. So I think that's a great start. Guy, good as a caretaker, but I feel like that this could be his shot, Tudor's shot, because we're gonna give him the whole year. This could be his shot to really prove to the world, prove to Juventus, and also prove to everybody else that he is a good coach and that he could win. And I think that he can. He has the capabilities. He knows Juventus. He knows because he's played for Juventus, so he knows the club.
Yeah.
I think this is good for Juventus as a whole. And the players speak very highly of Tudor, which is what you need. You need the players to really speak high of their manager like this, and that's great. And if Yildiz is popping off under him, I think that's a great addition too, because we need him to really perform at the highest. And it was going to be a test tomorrow, which we will see. It's going to be
So
interesting.
I do think it's interesting that you say that Tudor, it's his chance to really cement himself as a permanent manager, not just a caretaker. Because to talk about Club Brugge again, Club Brugge, the current manager is Nicky Hayen, and Nicky Hayen, he was a manager in the B team. He was the academy. He was a manager or assistant manager. He was never a permanent manager. In 2024, we were fourth in the league. We were terrible. We went out of the cup, Conference League. We were struggling. So he came in as interim manager to replace Ronnie Deila. Then he didn't lose a single game. He won all his games, got 3 draws, and won us the title. We were a bunch of points down. And after that, he became the permanent manager. Now, we won the cup under him and finished second again. And he's one of the best managers, I think, in the club's recent history. In the recent history of the club, I think he's been terrific. So sometimes, what I think people do is that they always want to go for the big manager. I see this in national team as well. Belgium, instead of taking a Belgian manager who knows the league, they look for a big manager who's won trophies in a top league. That's what they do. But then I look at Argentina, for example. They brought in Lionel Scaloni. Let's be honest. You have never heard of Scaloni before he took that Argentina job. None of us have.
Yep.
And he won the World Cup and 2 Copa Americas. And Finalissima, if you count that. I don't care about it, to be honest. But if you count Finalissima, there you go. That is, if you have a manager, sometimes you just need to trust a new manager with a little bit for a little while. But people take it in the extreme end. And with people, I mean Arsenal fans, because Arteta.
Yeah, man. Nah, I Alf, bro. I had a lot of Arsenal fans the other day that were saying that they would beat Juventus, that they would smash us. I said, okay.
But they wouldn't.
I think that they wouldn't, but I think it will be a closer game than what they seem because I really don't understand Arsenal fans, But this is why I respect City as a club because they know that Juventus is a top team and will always be a top team. So, this is going to be a game where it's going to be, of course, to determine first who is first or second. But at the same time, our teams, we're already through. So
Hmm.
I think also, do you think that I don't think that Pep is going to go all the way out in this game because he already knows we're qualified. I'd rather rest some players. Remember, it's going to be very hot too. So the heat, everything. And I think that Tudor's going to be more conservative in this game in terms of our players, probably. So that's why I see us making probably changes soon. Like, who knows? But it could be something different.
You know what? I'm conflicted on that because on one side, you win the game, you avoid Real Madrid.
That's true.
That's a big because Juventus doesn't have that pressure. Juventus doesn't have that pressure to win. So I think he might go all the way just to avoid Real Madrid, and then maybe get a chance to rest some players against Salzburg. But I'm not sure, to be honest, because I can see it happen that Pep Guardiola just plays O'Reilly in there and maybe plays, I guess, Rico Lewis maybe in midfield, or drops Bernardo Silva in the 10 and takes out Cherki and maybe plays Foden right wing. There's a lot of things you can do. So I'm not sure. It's really a game of desires as well, but I think Man City has a bit of desire to win because you beat us 2-0. So
That's true.
there may be that desire of let's get revenge.
That's true. We'll see. I mean, it's going to be a great game. I think in terms of the styles of play,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it's going to be a high scoring. I mean, I don't know what your predictions are, Alf, but I'm leaning towards more of a draw. For some reason, I feel like it's going to end in a draw. But at the same
I'm
time,
taking a draw as well, to be honest. I'm
yeah,
taking 3-3.
yeah. I was going to think like a 2-2, 3-3 for me,
Yeah.
but it depends us defensively, man. Because defensively, I feel like with Kelly playing, if it's Gatti, it's a whole different story. I think that will be more solid. But yeah, I'm gonna go with 3-3. Yeah, I would go with 3-3.
You know what's funny? It also depends for Man City defensively because most of the game you won't have the ball. But how do we cope with counters now? Because that was a problem all season last year. We can't cope with a counter. How do we cope with a counter from Juve, who's just so incredible countering wise?
With Yildiz, Colo, and
Yeah.
Conceição, that's gonna be a real test for your backline.
I mean, if we can keep a clean sheet, by the way, against Juventus, which I don't think we can, but if we can keep a clean sheet against you guys,
that's
to
impressive.
me, that tells me that we're past or at least partially past those problems.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I'm just hoping for the good. When is this game, by the way? Let me see that. Like, what hour? Okay, it's at 9. Because some of these games are hella late,
Yeah.
Like this game, this game was at like 3 a.m. I believe. Yeah, Dortmund. Yeah, this game is at 3 a.m. This is at 3 a.m. Like, bro.
Oh man.
Let's be honest. Not a single European and not a single Japanese person is staying up to watch these games. Let's be honest.
No way. No way. No way.
Anyhow, before we round up, let me close this screen. Let me ask a few final opinions from you. First of all, do you think right now Juventus is better than what Man City is player for player? Do you think player for player you're better, or do you think you're tactically better?
This is hard because I feel like that you guys are the better team.
Yeah.
We have underrated players that could definitely be for player. right? But I think tactically, you guys are much better tactically. Tudor is still, for me, unknown with his tactics. It's starting to finally shape up, right, with his build-up play so far. But I feel like that it's already proven that you guys have the proper manager already, right? Pep, Champions League winner. You
Yeah.
guys won the Champions League with them. I think though with Juve though, don't sleep on our front line. Front line, and I would say midfield, and also our fullbacks. Those I think are the players that could really go for player. Our back line, like I said, if it's Bremer, then our back line definitely could in like for example, if it's Bremer and Gatti that's starting, our back line could definitely challenge your back line for player to player. But at the moment, like I said, you guys are the better team. I wouldn't be surprised if you guys win
Yeah.
because you guys have a great squad. And at the moment, Juve hasn't been like the Juve of old, for example, so it's not the same Juventus, but I feel like that we could definitely do something for
And
sure.
Juventus have underperformed in international and European competitions, to be fair, as well.
That's right. That's right.
I mean, so have we, to be honest.
Well, I mean,
we,
yeah,
we
well, you
probably
guys
should have
won the
won more
treble.
than one Champions League.
Yeah, no, it's true. I mean, you guys performed very well in recent years.
In
So
recent years, yes. Since Ruben Diaz arrived, actually.
Mhm.
Since Ruben Diaz arrived, we got a semi-final, a final, a semi-final, and the treble. So, yeah, I guess Ruben Diaz just cooked for us.
Yeah.
Uh,
yeah, no, but the thing is, of course, our teams are going to try as much as we can to avoid Real Madrid because we all know
yeah.
how Real Madrid is. Possibly, hopefully, they are in the mud. They don't. If we go against them, we both of us come out and win, right? Obviously, because
To
it's
be honest,
we
I
want to
think
see them.
so.
I think we can. I mean, I think we can, but at the same time, it's like how Madrid is. But I feel like that in terms of this, you guys are the favorites. We are, of course, on an underrated team at the moment because we've won both of our games. We're playing spectacular. Yildiz is on fire. Conceição, Colomani, right? And I think it's going to be up half and half.
Yeah. I think what people don't talk about enough is chemistry. Your players
Yeah.
are more used to playing with each other. That is why I think you will have more. You will have a bit of an advantage there. Cherky has never played with Haaland. I mean, he's played one game with Haaland. Cherky has not played with Foden. Ajax Nouri has not played with these people. Marmoush has only been here for 6 months. So, chemistry-wise, we're
We're
not
better.
that. Yeah, chemistry-wise, you're a lot better. Your players are used to playing with each other. And I feel like in big games, in small games, I don't think you notice that as much. But in big games, I think that can be a big difference. So I think the difference maker is honestly how comfortable Juventus can be with with each other, the players, and
That's
how well
true.
you know each other. Because a problem we've had last season, actually, not sure if you saw this, the backroom staff wasn't communicating with the players. Like they were literally not talking with them. And we've had communication issues all over the club, not just backroom staff, players. I mean, Gustinov couldn't speak English when he first got here. Then was terrible for the 10 minutes against Chelsea, which he did very well, to be fair, to come back from. But still, he's a player who has his poor moments. You've got Nunez in there, who's got very big lapses in concentration defensively. So for us, I feel like the lack of chemistry sometimes is a big problem. And
Yeah.
that's why I think we draw, because I personally believe tactically and player for player, we're superior. But I just think you've got a better chemistry, and I think that will help you see it through to a draw.
That's true. Especially with you guys, you have to be very careful with Turam and Yildiz's link-up play. That has always, I think, have been working very, very well for us going forward. That has been great. Conceição, of course, you already know when he gets on the ball, he's going to take his man on. Same goes with Yildiz, right? And you're going to have Colomani that's going to be waiting for those aerial duels. So he's going to be definitely going on for that because we seen how especially the last game. All right, your guys' aerial duels were not that good against us. So we'll see. And then remember, we have some players that could definitely make a difference from the bench. But this is why I think we're going to draw. That's the only reason why I think we're going to draw. And of course, it's always been a close game, but I think, who knows? Pep could do something because he's Pep. Tudor still unknown, Oh, I think you're muted, Alf.
Oh, sorry.
Yep. Oh, good.
Sometimes I mute myself when I'm typing because my keyboard is very loud, and then I forget to mute myself. Anyhow,
Yeah.
I think the new generation of managers that's coming up is, they grew up on Pep Guardiola's tactics.
That's true.
They are a
Alonso.
lot more familiar with these tactics. So I think Pep Guardiola, tactically as a manager, I think a lot of people need to be prepared for him to regress as a manager, or maybe not regress, but for others to catch up to him, because it's the same what happened with Mourinho. People don't talk about how Mourinho revolutionized football because it's defensive and nobody cares about defensive football. But he revolutionized football in not the same degree as Pep, but a similar way, but just defensively minded. But at some point, that catches up to you. And what you brought through, which was super advanced at the time, becomes basic. That is why I think Pep Guardiola, he's still Pep, let's be honest. But that's why I think people need to be prepared for Pep Guardiola to not win trebles anymore, to not go Centurion anymore. I see people talking about quadruple next season. Like,
that's gonna be hard.
Calm down. It's going to be impossible. I'll just say it right there. Liverpool is incredibly strong, and when you push yourself, by the way, to 95 points, you don't go and win a Champions League. On top of that, you just don't. No team has ever won the Champions League whilst getting over the 95 points. Did you know that?
No, I didn't. That's insane.
It's very difficult it's nearly impossible, really, to be pushed that far in the league and to do it in Champions League as well. Of course, you play Champions League between the league as well, so it just doesn't happen. So, and I think Liverpool is going to get quite up there, but that's maybe enough for Man City because I did bring you on to talk about Juventus. I'll ask you this. Where do you realistically see yourself finishing in Serie A next season?
At the moment, from the two games I've been seeing, right, I think we are ranging from a top 4 to top 5. Unless we get signings.
Yeah.
If we get Jonathan David, if we get Sancho, that changes everything. Then I'm going to push to top 2 or top 3, challenge maybe for the title. But we have to get players. We need a center back. We need a talented winger, I would say. Maybe somebody that would be in the midfield as well. We definitely need somebody that could be that creative spark, right, from Bruges. Mm-hmm. Hopefully, Juve gets him, right? And then we would need a striker because Vlahovic is going to leave supposedly, so we're going to need somebody that could rack up the goals. And I think that Jonathan David is underrated, especially for the Serie A. He could be, because we all know him. He's quick, and he scores goals. Yeah. So I think under Tudor, he could definitely thrive. And remember, you're going to have Colomani as well. I think what we're trying to do as well, we're going to try to see if we can link up Colomani and Jonathan David as our two strikers up front. And then we're going to have Yildiz and Alberto Costa and all of them. Conceição. It's going to be there. It's going to be, I think that's what our goal is going to be. But I think that them
and
two...
Then what would you be playing as a 3-5-2? Is that what you're going to do?
Well, I think what we're going to try to play is similar to your formation of 4-2-3-1.
Yeah.
That's what I think. I think that's what we're mostly going to look at, right? We're going to have the two pit of it, right? We're going to have like probably Colo as that central 10. And then we're going to have Jonathan David up top and then Conceição, Yildiz on the right. And then Conceição, he rotates with Sancho.
Because what I'm imagining here, because when you've got 4-2-3-1, you can also have a second striker as that. You don't need to have a 10. You can have that as a second striker, a shadow
Yeah.
striker, I suppose they used to call that. And then you have your winger push up, and that winger becomes your fullback becomes the extra winger, which Cambiasso can do, I think. And then you have Yildiz become the 10, and that way you form a back three again, because you've got very good defensively there. And then you've got 3 in midfield, which currently you only have 2 in midfield when you're attacking, which can be a liability sometimes. So you get a midfield triangle. We know how much modern coaches love those triangles. And you get your striker with a shadow striker to play off of him.
Yep.
And you get your 2 wingers. So I think that's a system I can see Juventus playing. I'm not sure if you agree with that.
No, I definitely agree with that. For sure. That's how I think what Tudor is going to try to see what formation could be the could really fit with this team, And I just saw what Rich Moneymaker said. No, we do not need Nicholas Jackson, that fraud. We do not need that guy. Okay, this is why we're going after David and not Nicholas Jackson. Okay, bro. I know you're a Chelsea fan. I think, Rich Moneymakers, bro. We're not getting that, bro. Okay, please. I don't need that. I don't need the stress, bro. Okay.
Now, Nicholas Jackson would be amazing for you. He'd miss 10 chances every game.
10 chances every game. There you go.
And he'd score the 11th chance and celebrate shamelessly.
Oh my gosh. That's all I need. Not another Vlahomis, bro. I call him Vlahovic Vlahomis, man, because
Vlahovic is better than Jackson. I'm gonna be honest,
bro. But you got to see the missed chances that he's done. It's terrible. It makes you want to just like cover your eyes. Like seriously, it's bad.
Yeah,
so bad.
Nah, he's got some misses. He makes me think about Lacazette.
There you go, Lacazette. There you go, man. Oh man,
signing Lacazette to 3.0 in Jackson. You've got 2.0 right now in Vlahovic.
Yeah.
Anyhow, is there anything else you want to say before we round up there?
Yep. Yeah, I mean, let's see. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. It's going to be a great game tomorrow. Hopefully, may the best team win, of course. Because if one of our teams gets second, we're going to be versing Real Madrid. So
of course the best team is us, so we'll be winning. Thank you for thank you for bigging us up.
We'll see, because Juventus, like I said, Yildiz, my guy Yildiz, bro. Watch out.
I need Yildiz to drop a stinker. We will be there for the Yildiz stinker.
We need Haaland, bro. We need Cherky to drop the stinker. Guys, you all know it, bro. The banter's getting underway.
Beef jerky banter coming up.
Yeah, man. Yeah, bro. No, but it was a great show for sure, Alf. Great show.
Thank you for coming on. I loved having you on. And we will be going on Gio's channel as well after the game for the review of the game. So thank you for coming on, Gio.
Of course, bro.
Go subscribe to Gio. His link is in the title. It's also in the pinned message. Subscribe to me as well, because I'm very close to 1K. Big up to Luke, Alf, by the way. Big up to Luke.
Yeah, Alf, brother, I got you, bro. I know a lot of people in the Juve community. They'll come over and subscribe as well. So we'll get you to 1K today.
That's how the Italians move. It's a mafia.
Yep. Well, good. Don't worry, brother. We got you, man. We got you as well, bro.
Thank you, Gio. Thank you, but I love having other people on. I just love these one-on-one shows. I do panel shows as well, but one-on-one I think is most interesting. So Juventus is interested in Jackson.
No, no, we don't need that, bro. Listen, we're interested, but I don't think it's gonna happen, bro. Because it's happened last season as well. We were interested in Jackson, didn't happen. Hopefully, it doesn't happen. I don't need a Chelsea scrub anymore. Come on, give me Vega back. Rich Moneymakers, give me Vega back. You're not gonna use him, so give me him back.
So you're taking out Chelsea rejects.
Listen, just like Kevin De Bruyne, right? Chelsea reject.
That's true, to be fair.
There you go.
Hey, maybe to Chelsea rejects is where it's at.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe.
Because Mo Salah was also a Chelsea reject, wasn't he?
Yeah, exactly.
So on that bombshell, Gio loves the idea of getting Nicholas Jackson. Great addition to your club. Thank you for coming on, Gio. And we'll